The phone rang at precisely 10:30 a.m., shattering the quiet of my sun-dappled kitchen in suburban Detroit. The Michigan winter sun filtered through the frost-laced windows, casting long shadows across the oak table where my cold coffee sat untouched. Spread out before me like a prosecutor's evidence were the documents, trust fund statements, credit card bills, bank records, irrefutable proof of the decision I'd made just 12 hours earlier. My son's name, Kieran, glowed on the caller ID screen, insistent and bright against the black background. I let it ring twice, my heart steady now, before I picked up. "Mom," his voice cracked through the speaker, laced with panic and a pitch I hadn't heard since he was a teenager caught in some minor scrape. "Mom, the card's not working." I said nothing. Just lifted my mug, took a sip of the bitter, room temperature brew, and waited. "Mom, did you hear me? The Amex, it's declined. I tried it 3 times at the Shell station. The guy's glaring at me from behind the counter, and there's a line. And something's wrong with my account too. The direct deposit didn't hit this morning." The weak January light glinted off the stack of papers. I straightened them absent-mindedly, aligning the edges with precision. My hands didn't tremble, not like they had last night when I'd signed the forms. "I heard you, Kieran. Well, what's going on? Did you forget to pay the bill? Is there a glitch at the bank?" I set the mug down on its coaster, centering it perfectly. "No, Kieran. Nothing's wrong at the bank." Then why? He stopped abruptly, his breathing quickening, sharp and ragged, like he'd just run up a flight of stairs. "Mom, why isn't the card working?" "You told me to leave," I said, my voice calm, measured, as if I were commenting on the forecast. "So I did." Silence stretched on the line, broken only by his labored breaths and the distant honk of traffic wherever he was, probably some upscale suburb gas station on his way to work. "What, Mom? That's not. I was talking about the house. About yesterday's visit. Not this. No." I traced the edge of the top document with my fingertip, feeling the crisp paper under my nail. "You told me to leave your life. To stop being part of it. Those were your exact words, Kieran." "So I am." "You can't be serious." "I'm very serious." I heard a muffled thud, like he'd dropped his phone or leaned against something hard. "Mom, look, I'm sorry, okay? I was stressed yesterday. Sloan and I had a huge fight before we came over, and I took it out on you. It was wrong. I shouldn't have said those things." The trust fund paperwork stared back at me, 52 pages chronicling 11 years of automatic monthly transfers. Tens of thousands of dollars, funneled quietly into his life like an underground stream. Money he'd likely assumed was just part of his executive salary at that tech firm downtown, money that had paid for designer suits from Nordstrom, lavish dinners at Ruth's Chris, weekend getaways to Aspen while I clipped coupons from the Sunday Free Press and reheated leftovers in my microwave. "You're right," I replied. "You shouldn't have. So, you understand, you forgive me?" Relief flooded his tone, eager and grasping. "Then just fix whatever's wrong with the accounts, and we can." "I understand perfectly." I cut him off, my chest tightening but my words level. "And I'm done." "Done with what?" I gazed out at the gray Michigan sky, the bare branches of the maple tree in my backyard swaying in the wind. "Everything. The trust fund your father set up. The Amex I gave you for emergencies 5 years ago. The financial support that's kept you afloat every month since your father passed. All of it, Kieran. All of it is gone." The line went dead silent, so profound I thought the call had dropped. "Then, you can't do that." "I can. And I did." My lawyer, Gerald, handled the paperwork yesterday afternoon. It's official as of midnight. Gerald, his pitch climbed, incredulous. You called the lawyer mom? This is insane. That money is mine. The word mine landed like a slap. It's my money, Kieran. Your father left it to me to manage as I saw fit. And I no longer see fit to give it to someone who treats me like garbage in my own home. I don't treat you like garbage. I almost laughed a sharp, bitter bark that caught in my throat. You told me to leave. You said your wife doesn't want me around. You couldn't even finish the meal I spent 2 days preparing. You sat at my table, your father's table, and made me feel like I was nothing. That's not fair. Fair now, the laugh escaped, short and hollow. You want to talk about fair? I paid for your education, Kieran. Your entire tuition at Michigan State, your MBA at Ross. I paid for your wedding, that $25,000 Varawang gown Sloan wore, the venue at the Detroit Athletic Club that cost more than my Honda's worth. I've been supplementing your income for 11 years. And you've repaid me by treating me like an inconvenient obligation you can't wait to shake off. Mom, please. His voice cracked again, turning raw. We need that money. The house in Bloomfield Hills we put in the offer last week. We can't afford it without. Then you can't afford it. But we told everyone. Sloane's parents, her friends at the club, my colleagues. The movers are booked for next month. The deposit's non-refundable. That sounds like your problem. I rose from the table, walked to the sink, and dumped the cold coffee down the drain. The porcelain clinked softly as I rinsed the mug. You made a choice yesterday, Kieran. You chose Sloane's comfort over your mother's feelings. You chose to humiliate me in my own home. So now I'm making a choice too. I choose me. This is because of Sloane, isn't it? Anger seeped into his words now, defensive and biting. You never liked her. You've been waiting for an excuse to punish us. This is because of you. My grip tightened on the phone, knuckles whitening. Sloane didn't raise you. She didn't teach you manners or respect. She didn't sacrifice sleep and savings for you. I did. And you threw it all away like it meant nothing. I didn't mean. You did. You meant every word. And now you're facing the consequences. Please. He was crying now, sobs hitching through the speaker. Don't do this. We can work it out. I'll visit more. I'll call every week. You're sorry you're losing the money, I interrupted, my voice steady as steel. Not that you hurt me. There's a difference, Kieran. He didn't deny it. That silence spoke volumes, louder than any apology. Goodbye, Kieran. Mom, wait. I hung up. The phone buzzed immediately, his name flashing again. I powered it off and placed it face down on the counter. The kitchen filled with profound quiet, the hum of the old Frigidaire, the distant tick of the grandfather clock in the hall. I surveyed my space, the formica counters I'd scrubbed 1,000 times, the linoleum floor worn from years of family footsteps, the table where Kieran had carved his initials as a kid. This was my home, my life. And for the first time in years, I wasn't apologizing for it. But to understand how we got here, how a devoted mother ends up severing ties with her only child, how love curdles into this cold, deliberate distance, you need the full story. It didn't happen in a flash. It built slowly, insidiously, like frost creeping across a windowpane until the view is obscured entirely. Let's go back 3 years, to the day Kieran called me with news that should have filled me with joy. It was a Tuesday afternoon in early spring. I was in the garden, kneeling in the damp soil of my Brookfield backyard, planting tulip bulbs I'd bought on sale at Home Depot. The air smelled of fresh earth and impending rain. My landline rang inside. Yes, I still have one. Call me old-fashioned, but cell service is spotty out here, and it's reliable for emergencies. I wiped my hands on my jeans and hurried in, grabbing the receiver just before it went to voicemail. Mom Kieran's voice bubbled with an excitement I hadn't heard since he was 12 and we'd surprised him with tickets to a Lions game. I met someone. Someone special. I want you to meet her. My heart leaped. At 31, Kieran had dated before casual flings from his college days at MSU, a serious girlfriend in his mid-20s who fizzled out after grad school. But special, that was new. Visions danced in my head, family barbecues in the summer, Thanksgiving dinners around my table, perhaps grandkids playing in the yard one day. I'd love to meet her, I said, smiling so wide it hurt. Bring her over for dinner this weekend. I'll make your favorite lasagna with the homemade sauce. He hesitated, just a beat. Actually, she suggested we meet at a restaurant. This spot called the Whitney downtown. It's got great reviews. The Whitney. I'd read about it in the Detroit News. Historic mansion turned upscale eatery, where entrees started at $50 and valet was mandatory. Not my usual scene, I preferred the local diners or cooking at home. But for my son, anything. That sounds lovely, I lied smoothly. What time? Saturday at 7. See you then, Mom. Love you. Love you too, honey. I hung up, a mix of thrill and nerves churning in my stomach. Saturday came quickly. I dug out my best dress, a navy blue number with subtle floral embroidery, the one I saved for church on Easter or weddings. Paired it with comfortable heels that didn't pinch too badly. My 12-year-old Honda Civic purred to life in the driveway, and I drove the 45 minutes into downtown Detroit, navigating the one-way streets and construction zones. Parking was a nightmare. I circled for 20 minutes before finding a spot 3 blocks away. No way was I paying $30 for valet on my fixed income. The walk was brisk, the evening air carrying the hum of city life, honking cabs, laughter from sidewalk cafes. The Whitney loomed